Hey everyone, my name is Paxton Smith. I'm on the track team at CU. So track and field, I'm a distance runner, so on the track, it's 400 meters long. I run lots of laps. I'll run 25 laps. I'm a 10K runner. That's my event, what I like to do. So I spend my free time, I'm outside a lot running lots of miles. Every day I run about 15 miles a day at least, and that's kind of how I'm spending my days training, getting ready for the season. So now I'm kind of looking ahead to cross-country season. And in school, I'm studying business and education. I'm going to be a future teacher one day. Going to be teaching high school history. So who knows? Maybe I'll be your guys' teacher actually one day when you get older. So that'd be really cool.
Hey guys, I'm Danny Jones, and I'm a track and field athlete at the University of Colorado. I will be reading Queen of Track to you guys. So it says here that Alice Coachman was Olympic high jump champion. So she's a great track and field athlete. Okay. Alice Coachman was born to run and jump. On morning walks with her great-grandmother Rachel, Alice skipped ahead through the fields. She hopped on rocks. She vaulted over anything that got in her way.
As Alice got older, her papa told her to stop running and jumping. In the 1930s, running and jumping weren't considered ladylike. Besides, as one of 10 children, Alice had lots of chores to do. She got up early to cook cornbread and eggs. After school, she washed the clothes and hung them to dry. She picked cotton and peaches with her older brothers and sisters and took care of the younger children. Still, all Alice could think about was running and jumping. So when she was done with the chores, she'd sneak off to play sports with the boys. People said she was a crazy fool, and she knew Papa would punish her, but she couldn't pass up on a chance to run and jump.
In Albany, Georgia, like most of the South, black people didn't have the same rights as white people. Most white people wouldn't even shake hands with a black person. Blacks couldn't sit where they wanted on buses. They weren't allowed in many public places. There were no gyms, parks, and tracks where Alice could practice running and jumping. She didn't let that stop her. She ran barefoot on dirt roads. She collected sticks and tied rags together to make her own high jumps. Alice jumped so high she soared like a bird above the cotton fields.
When Alice was in 7th grade, the high school track coach noticed her talent. He convinced her parents to let her go with the team, the famous Tuskegee Relays in Alabama. There, she competed against the top black athletes from all over the country. For the first time in her life, Alice left Albany. She had never worn track shoes before or jumped over a real high jump bar. And Alice won first place anyways, beating high school girls and college girls. Alice didn't use her running talent only to win ribbons. One night in 1940, a tornado twisted into Albany, destroying homes and injuring many people. For 2 weeks, Alice volunteered as a rescue worker. She moved so fast she could deliver food while it was still hot. No one thought Alice was a crazy fool then.
That year, the track coaches from the Tuskegee Institute persuaded Alice's parents to let her finish high school at Tuskegee. The all-black school was known for its excellent high school and college, as well as its athletics. Tuskegee gave Alice a scholarship to cover her tuition. In exchange for her room and board, she cleaned the gymnasium and pool, rolled the clay tennis courts, and sewed uniforms. She missed her family and worried about them a lot. Without any money, they had a hard time staying in touch. Sometimes the coach gave Alice stamps so that she could write to them. One time she went home for a surprise visit, and her family had moved to a different house.
Alice competed for both track and field and the basketball teams. Traveling to meets and games wasn't easy. Most restaurants and gas stations wouldn't serve black people. Once, when Alice won a race against top-ranked white sprinter, someone in the stands threw ice at her. But Alice didn't let anything slow her down. The high jump, the 50-meter, the 100-meter dash, the 400-meter relay, she won them all. She even led the basketball team to 3 straight championships. Alice had proved she was the best high jumper in the country and one of the fastest runners. She was ready to show the world what she could do at the Olympics. But it was 1944, and World War II was tearing Europe apart. During the conflicts, the Olympic Games were canceled.
When Alice was 23, she graduated from the Tuskegee Institute's junior college and went home to Albany, leaving the track team behind. Alice trained alone, up and down the dirt roads, jogging, sprinting, jumping. Through the dust, she still kept sight of her Olympic dream.
When the war was over, Alice finally had her chance. She qualified to high jump in the 1948 Olympics. Even though Alice had never lost a high jump competition before, she wasn't sure she could win this one. The years of hard training had weakened her back, and jumping was painful. But this was the chance she'd been working for all her life. With her Olympic teammates, Alice boarded the SS America bound for England. On the 7-day voyage across the ocean, Alice had met most people from all over the world. One night, the athletes were in charge of entertaining the passengers, so Alice performed a dance, the St. Louis Blues.
In London, Alice stayed with the other athletes on a college campus. They all lived together, black and white, joined by their dreams. The war had taken its toll on the city. Bombing had left the streets littered with piles of rubble. Most people in England faced serious food shortages. Alice and the other athletes were often hungry and thirsty. The cold English weather picked her like pins, but Alice trained twice a day, and when she had time, she traveled around London and nearby towns, hopping from bus to bus. Alice could sit in any seat she wanted to admire the English countryside.
Despite the hardships that people faced in London, the Olympic ceremonies were spectacular. Alice marched with her other athletes in Wembley Station to applause of 85,000 spectators. The King of England proclaimed the Olympic Games open, and thousands of pigeons took flight into the sky. Alice had never seen so many birds soaring into the sky. You kind of see them soaring right here.
Sorry, guys. Alice waited 8 days for her turn to compete. One by one, her teammates lost their track events. With each loss, Alice became more determined. Whoever beats me better set a record, she thought. Alice was America's last hope for a gold medal in women's track and field. Her toughest competition was Dorothy Tyler from Great Britain. Inch by inch, they battled it out. 5 feet, 3 2/5 inches. 5 feet, 4 1/2 inches. The sand in the landing pit was thinning out, and the landings were tough on Alice's back. 5 feet, 5 1/3 inches. Even though it was getting late and all of the other competitions were over, the King and Queen of England and thousands of spectators stayed to watch.
At 5 feet, 6 1/8 inches, the bar was as tall as Alice. She never jumped that high in a competition before. Alice focused on the jump. She sprinted, pumping her arms. She pushed off and flew. Up, soaring, over the bar. Her leap set an Olympic record.
Dorothy jumped and missed, but a jumper gets 3 tries to clear each height, and Dorothy cleared the bar on her second attempt. The officials raised the bar to 5 feet 7 inches. Alice jumped and missed. Dorothy missed too. After 3 attempts, neither athlete cleared the bar. Alice wasn't sure what would happen next. There are no ties in the high jump at the Olympics. Then she saw her name on the board. A Coachman, United States. It says, number 1, Coachman, United States. Alice won because she had made the record-making jump on the first try.
On August 7th, 1948, Alice Coachman from Albany, Georgia became the first African-American woman to win an Olympic gold medal. As thousands cheered, she stepped onto the podium. She had achieved her dream, a dream that started with a little girl running and jumping barefoot in the fields of Georgia. The King of England presented her with a gold medal. "I'm very proud of you," he said. "Congratulations." Then King George shook Alice's hands.
And here's more about Alice Coachman. It says, for most athletes, the greatest challenge is to master their sport. But for Alice Coachman, hurling herself over a 5 feet 6 1/8" bar was far from her biggest obstacle. She was born in 1922. Alice grew up very poor. She lived in Georgia, where black people were treated unfairly. Banned from public places, Southern black children weren't allowed to participate in most organized sports. To make matters worse, in the 1930s, girls were expected to help with the housework and be dainty. Alice's father punished her severely for sneaking out to run and jump. However, looking back, Alice believed to become a successful, that these enormous challenges gave her the determination and toughness she needed to become a successful Olympian. It says, an exceptional runner and jumper, Alice earned nicknames such as Queen of the Track, Atomic Alice, Track Ace, and Tuskegee's Flash. She likely would have won several gold medals at the 1940 and 1944 Olympics, but both were canceled because of World War II. After winning a gold medal, Alice returned to her hometown as a hero. It was rare in Georgia to hold a celebration for a black person, but a special day was organized for her. A parade stretched for 175 miles, yet segregation was still alive in the South. Isn't that crazy? At her welcome home ceremony, Alice was not invited to speak to the crowd. Whites sat on one side in the auditorium, blacks on the other. A mayor didn't even shake her hand. Still, Alice felt supported from many white people. She sent her anonymous gifts of congratulations through the mail. Really cool. Alice stopped competing after the 1948 Olympics, but continued to accomplish great things. She went on to get her college degree from Albany State College. She became a community volunteer, a mother, a teacher, and a coach. She was the first black woman to endorse an international product when Coca-Cola featured her in its billboards. Named to 8 Halls of Fame, Alice won 10 straight U.S. National Outdoor High Jump Championships, a record that still stands today. In 1998, she was inducted in the honorary member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, the oldest Greek-lettered organization established by an African-American college-educated woman. And that's her right there. And this is a quote from her. It says, when the going gets tough, you feel like throwing your hands in the air, listening to that voice that tells you, keep going, hang in there. Guts and determination will pull you through. All right, and then here's a picture of her at the Olympics. All right, thanks for listening, guys. I hope you're all staying safe and you're still reading.
And then just to clear up, just kind of how that high jump works. So you get 3 jumps at each height to clear it. And if you don't, kind of what happened in that book, they didn't clear that next height after they both cleared the previous height. And since Alice cleared it on her first, and Dorothy, the girl from Great Britain, cleared it on her second attempt, Alice did it first. So that's why she won, just to clear that up. I know it's a little confusing. So thanks for letting me read your class, and everyone just finish out a great rest of the school year.